our dough, chaps. We've done our dough.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Form King. We are 2 days out from the Caulfield Cup Day, and yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's a great meeting in terms of quality. Caulfield can be a tricky place to bet, at least for me. I find it's one of those tracks that I don't tend to win as much at compared to Flemington. It could be, well, I've always suspected it's a bit due to that seemingly on pace bias, and that a lot of horses don't seem to get a crack or wind up as much, but there's probably something more going on than that. So that's something that over the long term I need to investigate, but that's taking things a little off track. That can be something for the future, but it's a great day of racing. The Cup itself, I don't think it's really that awesome a field. It seems to get worse over time, if anything. Maybe the Melbourne Cup's got a bit better. But as always, it's still a conundrum to be solved, so we'll try and unpack that a little bit. Everest is way simpler. It's just the world versus Caulfield rising, so I won't even do that much form in that race. I just don't think it's worth it. I think that it's just an absolute top liner against some good sprinters, but no Giga Kick, certainly no Hailers, certainly no Black Caviar. Caulfield rising all the way. So can it handle Sydney? That's what we'll find out. Okay, first things first, let's have a recap of Caulfield Guineas Day last week. Quite a few slowly run races at Caulfield, leading to some leaders and on paces winning quite a lot. Zoo Sensation will be one of them, even though it only just fell in at the end with King Zephyr charging home. The Guineas itself, Autumn Boy dropped on, and that was a little bit more open, well, let's say. Giga Kick was the rare exception coming from the back, also Point Barrow. In terms of what we got back, let's consult the tape. O2 Good was a good winner. We narrowly missed the Quinella, had the place on Moonlight Circus that paid about $9.70 for the place. It would have been 25% of a Quinella, where O2 Good was about $3, Moonlight Circus was about $50. So that Quinella probably would have paid about $70, so could have got back around $18, which would have really boosted things up to a $60 return instead of the $41.19 that we got. But that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. So unlucky to miss there. Zoo Sensation was a good winner, got away with a very cheap lead and it paid off. And just a horse in form, knows what it's doing around Caulfield, and was a very good bet. Even probably the final margin was maybe half a length, but it had a commanding lead pretty much down the straight, and you were always pretty safe. So excellent bet there at $4.80. Like a Lucy ran on well, that we didn't have that, but just wanted to make a point of, again, it's run on well from an unsuitable position back in a field. We'll be loving Flemington once it gets there. Giga Kick was pretty arrogant in the way that it won, really. It rounded them up, and you could just tell at the top of the straight when it was at the pinnacle of its run, sort of around everything, that it was just going to chew them up, and it did. And Tropicus held on well to run second. It's not that often that you see a horse come from last and win, and then one of the horses that was sort of on speed hold second. Probably says a lot about Giga Kick's win. And just want to make a mention that Damask Rose, which is one of our better bets for the day, held up a lot in the straight. Finally sort of saw daylight at the end. It did come home pretty well, but by then Transatlantic was a good three or four lengths ahead of it. But didn't get a really clear run at them. So don't think that was as deserving as when you look at the form guide next time and see the 6th or the 7th. Deserved better. So we will see. So anyway, overall $41.19 back. Sport, obviously no bets. So racing up 6.5% pretty much. It's sort of been around there for a few weeks. Sport, same deal, still minus 10%, and then overall it's 2.3% return, which compared to the share market is at 16%, sucks. But as I say every week, there's still time to turn it around, and we will. This is an experiment over time to see whether this percentage can change by a lot, whether I can actually implement some better betting strategies. This week there'll be a little bit more of an onus on race times. That's one thing that I've really neglected over my betting journey, is looking at times, especially sectionals. Sectionals will be a pivotal thing, which will come in time, but at the moment just starting to get a handle on race times and what you should expect for a par time for 1200, 14, 16, and trying to look at where horses have stolen a break, had a really easy lead, when they've gone too hard, where it's been set up for back markers, that kind of thing. So there'll be a little bit more of that today. There'll be a little bit more of looking at some race patterns. Didn't do it for the Cup, just ran out of time. And to be honest, in those longer distance races, I find that in the speed maps that I've done in the past haven't really mattered as much because it's a big field. They tend to run slowly and stretch out, and every horse can find a position. It's probably more pertinent in those sort of 1400 meter races, 1200, where position is really vital and will dictate sort of how you finish. So a few of the races around the Cup we look at, and there's a couple of interesting things that come out of it. I think there's a couple of good bets for the day. But anyway, Caulfield, race 1. Let's get into the notes. And I want to make a point here. There's something that I will not do in the future, is that I can never read my own handwriting. I make all these notes, notes about horses, notes about prior runs, and then it comes to reporting time, I can't even read it. I can't even read my own writing of 38 years. So that's a note to self to just write in all caps. Just make it super simple. So race 1, Caulfield, 1400 meter Lamaro's open, 3-year-old open plate. So Matanga, pretty much last time it was just better than its more Morphettville opposition. Really had the drop on them. It's going to go back, which I'm always going to say this: at Caulfield, it is problematic. You're much better off being up on the speed. So that's at 850. Kaleo, this could have come back okay. It's the 8th. At its recent run wasn't that flash, but a Group 2 in heavy, really not his caper at that point in time. Before that, he was quite good. He's drawn out here. Icarian Dream was doomed by the barrier last time, pretty much at Moonga Valley. Had to go back. Came on late behind Snow Mercy. Needs a bit more speed on, which, to be honest, I don't really know if it's going to get it on Saturday. It may. Barcash is definitely going to go forward. Wise In-Law is going to go forward. A few of the other ones, Amping Lass probably as well. It should be a better situation, let's put it that way, than Moonga Valley. So the 850, I think, is quite appealing for a horse that's run against quite a few top liners. Call Da Vinci's been third in a Group 1. It's beaten Home Navy Pilot. Navy Pilot started about $6 or $7 in the Caulfield Guineas last week, so that says a lot. Barcash, 1400 metres. Had a really good time of it in that recent run. It's been up for a while, which I know that people get a bit edgy about, punters, but it is 310, so it is the favourite. People haven't really shied away from that. Wise In-Law is going to go forward from barrier 8. Decanted, strong staying vibes I'm sensing here, so that's something for later on. Lofty Thoughts. I just haven't got any respect for wins on dirt tracks, so I'm just going to move on. Sulek will like this at Flemington. This is really in the market. The win at Sandown was good. It really stretched out on the big track there. We'll appreciate Flemington. And then Amping Lass, this was a pretty hot race last time at Sandown with Farivia. Wasn't run that fast, so Farivia sort of battled on down the straight quite well. Amping Lass crossed early. Spent a little bit more petrol maybe than a couple of the others. And then in the straight, it sort of knocked up. But there were some good horses in that race. So that was Group 2. Some of these other ones can't really say that. For example, let's have a look at Sulek. That's coming off a maiden. And Wise In-Law, has this actually even run it? It's coming off a listed. So I think that's quite good from Amping Lass. And the $18 is a bit silly even. So each way, I want to have a crack at definitely Amping Lass coming down in class dramatically. With Zach Spain on board, lightweight 54 kilos. Should get a decentish run from barrier 2. So definitely each way Amping Lass. The other one was really a toss-up between Kaleo and Icarian Dream. I think they're both excellent value. I'll just take a punt that Kaleo has come back okay. It already likes Caulfield, which is a huge plus. Icarian Dream just may, from barrier 7, have the same thing happen where it goes back and is charging late. It just, things don't work out. But anyway, I'll put those in a Quinella for sure. So there'll be 2 Kaleo, 3 Icarian Dream, 6 Wise In-Law, 10 Amping Lass definitely in the Quinella at least. But yeah, Kaleo and Amping Lass each way. Barcash, that's a pretty predictable favourite. Makes sense, but yeah, it's been a bit up for a while, and this might be a bit changing of the guard. Race 2, Sportsbet Classic, 2,000 metres Group 3. It's a bit of a shame that Options is out, and to a lesser extent, Kakoi. Kakoi was sort of tailed off in that race at its last run, and it would have been just interesting to see how it went. Probably would have gone forward. Options, a few of these horses like Options, Miwa, Order Mystery, Engine of War, they're obviously on a derby trajectory, and they've been running in the same races against each other. So it would have been another nice chapter of seeing how they would have gone. So Options is a bit of a loss. What else have we got? Order Mystery goes back. Engine of War is a real trier. It's got that big stride. It just keeps on pounding away. Amazake, reasonably good staying type. McWoody. This was sort of cluttered around the turn at Wodonga, and then it had to duck and weave, and it accelerated really well. So the class is the question, but at $19, that's quite an interesting proposition. Probably didn't beat much at Wodonga, but looks good to the eye. And then Deal Done Fast. This is out of Done Deal. Probably a Flemington horse through and through. It was good last time in that race, won by Order Mystery, where there was a lot of interference. Probably a fast lane out wide, but this stuck on the inside at 70 to 1, ran really well. Probably being a done deal, will just love sort of 2400, 2500, bigger track like Flemington, but it certainly caught my interest. And McWoody was 26 yesterday, but with options coming out, the prices have come in, and same for Deal Done Fast. So don't really know. Compared to race one, I think race one's probably a better betting option than this. This is a small-ish field now with the scratchings. Engine of War deserves to be favourite. I like that as a tough horse. And Arabian Prince, not sure. That's quite short for a third and a fifth. Last time it didn't overly impress me. It did make a lot of ground, but many of them did. Engine of War deserving favourite. I just want to have something on McWoody and Deal Done Fast. So I just think there's some value there. New stayers on the scene. But Deal Done Fast will be better at Flemington for sure. That's race 2. Race 3, Ethereal Stakes, 2,000 meters, Group 3. So this one, Spicy Lou, not sure. Sort of pulled up a bit last time, like it, and so it wasn't exactly right. Yum had a bit of a tricky run, 3 wide. That took its toll. It won previously at Caulfield on a fast speed with Chateau Isay. That made the most of it that day. It's drawn wide again here. Just a Journey's the favourite at 250. There'll be no surprises. It will certainly go forward. And the question mark is 2,000 metres. It is a very tough horse. Seems hard to get past. Seems able to fight on. It wouldn't want to be tackled too much for the lead. After summer, just skipping down to number 5. This got away with Murder last time at Flemington. Ran that race super slowly and just won easily, paying $15. So that from barrier 1 should go forward and trouble Just a Journey just a little bit. Spicy Lou may also attack for the lead. Zoo Claire was second in a slowly run 600 metre race at Morfettville, I think. Let's just double check that. Mornington. It's that handwriting thing again. Nothing really special in that race. And then 4th at Geelong. Yep, that's an outsider anyway. Just Kick. I liked this last time. It didn't really do much. I think it's good to stick with horses that you have live, even though I can't really make a case for it this time, but I'll have something on it. So Just Kick's paying 10, same as last week. Luftatar. Big odds, 70 to 1. It had 2 runs, ran 5th at Echuca, then went up in distance and ran a decent second at Bendigo. I just think it's over the odds, so like a buck there for the place. It was paying 14 yesterday, now 13. I think isn't too bad. And then Future Frankie, this ran at Cranbourne, made a stack of ground behind, when it was Island Boy. I don't think it was a great and especially good form race, but it was pretty much a mile back and really motored. The closer they got to the finish line, the harder this horse was coming. So looks like a real Flemington big track sort of horse. Needs big wind up, but certainly was of interest. So I each way on Future Frankie, and then place on Lufatar, and each way on Just Kick, just out of those old, sentimental vibes. Just a Journey is a great favourite, probably goes forward, and if it doesn't get pressured too much, probably wins. $2.50 right on that value line. There's still some, it's equal, to say balanced. There's nothing really to gain or to lose there. But yeah, not an amazing betting race. I think there's value in Future Frankie. Barrier 2 means you'll get a little bit stuck maybe on the inside, so nothing huge. It's nothing huge. Race 4, the Gothic Stakes, 1,200 metres. So McGaw, last time at Flemington, it was too good a horse to get out to 15-1. It may have been in a fast lane out wide. There was a bit of a fast run race, but held on really well. It's up 1.5 kilos here. Tentris, excellent run, third last time. I think it was the same race from memory. Yep, it was. Loves Caulfield. Well, no, it's had one run here. Likes Caulfield, can certainly handle it. That's going to get back. Raging Force, a bit of an unknown on dry. It's going to go to the lead. Aleppo Pine had the drop on the leaders in a fast run race. Yep, so that's paying 13. I think that was just the conditions suited on that particular day. Baduri will fly late. So this one at big odds at Moonee Valley, and it seemed like it was an unpredicted win, but watching the replays back, Fleming said it was a bit hampered. Before that, the win at Geelong was good. You can sort of see the signs were there. So should have picked up on that when I was doing that form for Moonee Valley a few weeks ago. So Baduri's going to go back, and if it's a fast run race, that will be dangerous. Ripley was in the market. This is paying $9. Had a great run to win that race in Sydney. Was that at Rosehill Maiden. Popped out when it needed to. So, yep, I think it had the right run that day. Star Trip, too far back last time. It's had a first and a second. Second was at Mornington. It was chasing Cavalry Girl, who had a pretty good time of it up front. And then Star Trip closed late. And then She's an Alibi. I did make a point, I think last week or the week before, that this sort of battled in those runs at Eagle Farm. I wasn't that impressed. But looking at it now, that Autumn Boys at Caulfield Guineas winner, the runs do look a little bit better. So that's paying 21, and you'd have to say that's a bit of value. So Tentris, sort of similar deal to the last race. It's a similar price to Just a Journey. It makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go with Star Trip and She's an Alibi just for the value factor and the natural improvement. And yeah, there's a few question marks. Raging Force, how's it going to handle the dry? And is there going to be enough speed for things to run on like Tentris? Yeah, wouldn't outlay a lot, but we'll definitely go with those two. Race 5, Alinghi Stakes 1100. This one, probably also not an amazing betting race. So let's have a look at Ostmar. Let's start off with Ostmar. Tough and reliable. Like that it's sort of had that first up run, and it could be sort of set to run well here at Caulfield 1400. Jasmine Rouge, checked and still made good ground last time. Flew late. Up in weight though, and then from the inside barrier, where's it going to go? Those are sort of the question marks. Tiger Shark's going to run on. It's going to go back from barrier 12. New York Luster, this didn't do much in Sydney last time, but before that the form had been good, and it had been running in quite strong races behind Barrack Heel, behind Bridal Waltz, who was excellent in that sprint race down the straight at Flemington 2 weeks ago. Behind In Flight, this shouldn't be written off. It's got a wide gate, which will make it easier to go back. Needs a bit of pace on, but yeah, that's been overlooked at $9.50. Soft Love's going to go back. Photograph likes Wet. Acacia goes back. Wide draw. So there's probably an option here for something to go forward and steal a bit of a march on them. So could be Ostmar. High Dubai's in the market. Stretton Angel should go back. Material Dreams is huge odds. May go forward, but 5 runs here for nothing. That says a lot. Sun Setting paying 17. Yeah, tricky race. Form line's a bit all over the place. I'll have something on Ostmar and something on New York Luster, but yeah, sort of like a no confidence vote. That's the Alinghi. And then race 6. Now we're getting to the end of the races where you're getting bonus bets back for second or third with the tab or with Sportsbet. The Herald Sun Sprint Group 2,000 metres. So Ray Magnario loves Caulfield, quality horse. It's drawn barrier 4, which might not suit, might get stuck on the inside, but can't go past the quality. Nadal, it's paying 9. Hasn't run really in the quality races that Ray Magnario has, but its most recent win, that was just impressive as it was so commanding. It came from the back. It ran all over Ray Magnario, ran away by 3 lengths, but hasn't been able to do that consistently. So that's why it's $9. Arabian Summer couldn't get a run last time, was held up. And we'll get to the speed map for this. I'll have more to say on that. Sharippa, it sort of has flopped in the Group 1s that it's run in, but anything else that's been sort of competitive. It likes Caulfield. That could definitely be said. The barrier 2 probably should go forward. There's a bit of a void here for, well, not really a void for speed, but probably in its own best interest from that barrier probably should go forward and just try and get a decent run. And the 1100 is good for that. It's sort of struggled over the 12, but the 1100, it's struggled over the 12, but the 1000 will suit a lot better. It's a really speedy customer. So that's good for Sharippa. Pisanello is going to go back. GG's Mistruth was really good back in its native Tasmania, but then last time it was pretty poor and pulled up, so something might be a miss. Zealously, this tough horse goes forward down from Sydney. I think this has entered somewhere else, so it's paying $250 as the favourite at the moment, but if that doesn't run, that'll obviously be a very changed market, and then you would get Arabian Summer probably coming into favouritism. Philosopher is big odds, but from barrier 1 probably will push up to the lead, so that adds a fair bit of interest. And then Rich Dotty has been okay pretty much in good races lately. Third behind Stocker at Moonee Valley. Right in that really good race won by Persian Spirit at Flemington. So getting to the speed map for this, probably GGs will push up underneath Zealously, and they'll be going forward. Scripper could take a sit, third one out, one back. Philosopher could be underneath it. Rich Dotty probably gets trapped out wide a little bit, so there's a bit of a question mark there. Ray Magnerio I've got back on the fence behind Philosopher, and then Arabian Summer, which I wanted to mention, is the one probably sits behind Rich Dotty in the running line, getting a pretty easy run. So I think that's going to have the drop on them. Barrier 8 probably is okay. There'll be a little bit of a void, a little bit of a gap there behind Rich Dotty where it can settle into. And then Nadal back on the fence and Pisanello outside it. So all signs for me point to Arabian Summer. It's not the strongest Group 2 outside of Ray Magnerio and maybe Zealously. So yeah, Arabian Summer should be a bigger bet. I think that's quite a good betting option in race 6. Then we get to race 7, almost up to Cup territory, but certainly the quaddie territory. So this is the 1000 Guineas, 600 metres, Group 1. Apocalyptic won on speed in its last start in Sydney, put a gap on the rest. Within the law was trying to chase it down, but Apocalyptic had already burst away. And what notes have we got? That was a relatively fast 600 metre race, but that was still on pace and did pretty well. It should try and sit on speed again here. Number 2 for Rivia. In its recent runs, when it's drawn well, it's basically almost always won. When it drew wide, it ran 6th. In that slow race last time, it was pretty strong, battling down the straight. And it ended up winning in that 4-way go. Ole Dancer. This ran on really powerfully last time. It just needs a lot of speed on, so it'll need things to go right, but it's been running really well. It just needs a few breaks. Zany Girl goes back, tends to run on. It had every chance last time. It was sort of 3rd or 4th in that race where there wasn't a lot of speed on. It battled okay, but it might be a sign that it's not fully up to like your Get a Good Feeling sort of horses. Get a Good Feeling was blocked for a run so many times and still ended up coming down the outside with Mating Call and beating it, whereas Get a Good Feeling had probably 20% of the same amount of time to run at full tilt down the straight. So that was excellent. Salty Pearl, this has been running on really well. It was in an unsuitable part of the track in one of those recent runs. It's a big distinctive sort of white horse, so that's definitely great value at $19. Third first spell, third. The runs have been good. That goes under the radar. What else have we got? Cherish Me's a bit out of form. Steel Trap will come across from 12 and try and lead. Ethereal Girl was pretty tough. Faced the breeze last time at Sandown, but was still there towards the end. Chateau Ise from 11, where does it go? Maiden Call, as mentioned, Get a Good Feeling had a much tougher run and still beat at home. Not a much tougher run, just got blocked for a long time. But Maiden Call was still good, but probably more of a Flemington. And just the way that it's sort of ground home, I don't think it's going to be lack a bit of the explosiveness needed for Caulfield. So I think Ferrivia goes around at extra value in all of its runs, it seems. For $15 is generous. Apocalyptic, looking at a bit of a speed map, Steel Trap, if it does cross and go to the lead, Ethereal Girl will be just behind it. Apocalyptic from barrier 4 may actually get sort of posted 3 wide, outside Ferrivia, outside Get a Good Feeling, which may kick up. And then we've also got Kosciuszko. I really liked this until I saw that this may also get posted 3 wide behind Apocalyptic. Salty Pearl should be inside it, so that's going to depend on a bit of good riding to sort of get free in the straight. Ole Dancer, the thing that detracts from it for me is that it might actually end up being 3 back on the fence. So barrier 5 might not really help it. Zany Girl, same deal, might end up being behind that. And then Chateau is going to be back last on the outside. And what have we got? Mating Call underneath it. So if the speed is on, that'll suit Chateau from the back. Same with Salty, same maybe with Kosciuszko. If there's not a lot of speed on, well, Ferrivia probably gets a similar run to what it did at Sandra, and then it can battle down the straight and maybe win. Same deal, Get a Good Feeling if it can get free. And Ethereal Girl might be a bit of a winner there too. Classy race and an intriguing race, lots of betting opportunities. Between Ferrivia, Get a Good Feeling, Salty Pearl, Kosciuszko, Ethereal Girl, whichever way you go, there's options here. Apocalyptic, also we know Sydney horses. First time at Caulfield is a graveyard, so there'll be money for this. And it may just be that much of a better horse that it wins, but it was $2.40 before. Now it's into $2. Money's going to come probably all day from punters there who want a cheap winner. Especially if a few of those other ones have gone down, it could be a bit of a trap. That's a stronger race than it seems. So that's race 7. Race 8. Let's get into this. The Moonga Stakes, 1400 meters. So here to shock. This ain't no Group 1. So running in a few of those lately, and this is a big step down. Likes Caulfield. Private Eye, 4th in that race in Sydney, and that was behind Fangirl. Battled on a little bit at the end. It was a pretty strong pace set by Lindemann. Wasn't too bad. The race that it won at Caulfield, it sort of racked them, stacked them, had a really good run. That was 2 starts ago. It's going to come across from 9 and try and lead. It is pretty old now. I think we're looking at like an 8-year-old. Is that right? Yeah, 8-year-old gelding. So that is Private Eye. Willado, good second up, goes forward. That was in that straight race. Willado faced the breeze. War Machine had a bit of a trail behind Star Patrol, which explains into why that was the winner. Willado held on well. It was a fast 1200 meters, 1 minute and 9 seconds. Mighty Ulysses, this won on this day last year. It won race 10, came off a fast tempo set by Buffalo River, which looked like it had the race sewn up, and Mighty Ulysses wove its way through the field and stormed home late and won. So that's paying 70 here. And then lately, funnily enough, it actually likes to go forward and doesn't even go back. Can't really be taking it. West Star, that was in that race at Flemington behind War Machine, I believe. And it sort of fell out of the race over time. So not really sure what's going on there. It'll be better suited at Caulfield, drawn pretty well. Is it up to the class? Probably not. Media World, that's been solid in all of its runs. It's going to try and go forward, try and set off the pace. Stapati was in the worst part of the track last time. I think it really likes Caulfield. I've got a note, placed 5 out of 6. Only one of those is a win though, but it really likes Caulfield. Drawn badly out wide. Payline, this was a horse I've been backing lately. I really like it. It was solid but not spectacular at Flemington in that Group 2 behind War Machine. It was in the best part of the track. It came home with the others. It was 2 lengths off. We'll get to the speed map for this, but not ordinarily I would like that. Star Patrol, 2 really good runs, drawn wide. Warney a bit outclassed. So What I would say here is that Shock's going to kick up from barrier 1, should be leading. Private Eye probably should be outside of it. And then Star Patrol might come across and get caught 3 wide. Willado should be behind the leaders. West Star should be in the 1 out, 1 back and to get a pretty cushy run. Media World, if it tries to come across, might get trapped out there as well, or it could get into a pretty good 1 out, 1 back behind Star Patrol if they stretch out a little bit. Stapati could get posted midfield and wide. Mighty Ulysses back in the middle. Warney back on the fence. Payline, I've got this sitting back last on the inside, and then there's a horse on the outside of that Royal Insignia. So yeah, that takes me away from Payline a little bit of where it might sit. I think Heat of Shock gets quite a good run. It's got a stack of weight, but likes Caulfield. So each way Heat of Shock and place bet on Royal Insignia if it can wind up from the back. If a few of those are getting tired and posted wide, Insignia might run on into a place. That's race 8. Race 9. All right, Caulfield Cup time. Let's have a look. So Vauban Vobans coming off that terrible Metropolitan, shocking. No one was good. It was but such a bunch of out of form stayers that you just wouldn't back at any races. Presage Nocturne, this is a Euro stayer. Honestly, like 2 running in Group 1s, Group 3s, Group 2s, it wouldn't have to be that good to win this or to run well. So that's paying 34, definitely over the odds. Middle Earth, out of form. Maidan, 2 running a listed Group 3 and been around the mark. Not overly impressed. What else have we got? Absurd, probably been set for the Melbourne Cup and resumes here. Around the mark in some small fields in Europe, drawn well in barrier 1. It's not the worst pick at $26 and it's not a strong race. Land Legend totally out of form. I believe this ran 3rd to Duke de Sessa in last year's Cup. It's hard to think of now. Zardozi used to love this, also a bit out of form. 5 lengths off Sir Delius last time. It's run well at Caulfield before. Probably wants it wet. Dry might not help. Adelaide River, so-so. Banker's Choice. This has actually become a really reliable, fun, interesting horse. Used to be an out-and-out wet tracker. It's been running well on dry. I love horses that could have a bit of a transformation. It's out of Mongolian Khan, a Caulfield Cup winner. This isn't the craziest idea ever at 100 to 1. It's not an overly strong field. It's reasonably in form. So that's something to keep an eye on. Deacon is the one I want to back. Reasons are that in its previous prep, it had good form, good winning form over the 2000 at Pakenham, 2000 at Flemington, one over the 2500 at Moonee Valley. Didn't beat much, like beat Garrett Chico, but like a stayer, like a decent stayer. And then this prep, it's run, last time it was 3 lengths behind Sir Delius, so it's been running against some good horses. And I mean, it was when they crossed the line, it was basically next to Half Yours, which is the $2.80 favourite here. So I think that could improve a lot. Barrier 7's pretty decent. It wouldn't have to be the greatest horse ever to win this. 54 kilos. That was 19 yesterday, now it's 17. So I like Deacon. Golden Snap, Japanese horse. Form's been good. They tend to run well. Warp Speed in last year's Cup. Delta Blues, obviously, in the Cup. Eye Popper in the Caulfield Cup about 20 years ago. 20 to 1. That's drawn pretty terribly, which they always seem to get, funnily enough. But yeah, that's a chance. Rebelare, this is interesting. People have gone off this. It was this boom stayer, and it was favourite every time, and then it ran 7th at Flemington. And yeah, now it's 23 to 1 in a Caulfield Cup. Wouldn't be crazy. It's got a lightweight, trained by Robert Hickmott, excellent trainer of stayers. I think people have just overlooked this and forgotten, but yeah, I would keep an eye on that. River Stars out of form. Birdman, I question the form. It ran 7th in that Metropolitan, which I don't want to think of anything that ran in that race as a serious chance. Half Yours. Yeah, look, it was a good run behind Sir Delius. Came from the back. Likes Caulfield. Won well here over Berkshire Breeze. Lightweight. Jamie Mellom on board. Barrier 2. Where's it going to go? Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense as favourite, but yeah, just unsure. Royal Supremacy, fresh off the Metrop win, beating Soul of Spain. Valiant King coming off that massive upset win at Flemington, beating Torrenzino. And then Plymouth, which was worried out of it by Braden Starr last week. So that's the full list. I would have something on Revelare Deacon, Presage Nocturne, and then I do a Quinella for 2 Presage Nocturne. Fucking 5 Absurd, 7 Zardozi, 9 Banker's Choice, 10 Deacon, 11 Gold Snap, 12 Revelare. Big Quinella with lots of outsiders. And then sit back and enjoy and see what actually happens in that race in the end. That's race 9. Race 10. Race 10, Caulfield. Let's have a look at this. This is the Tristarc Stakes, Group 2, a decent race left for last. So Miraval Rose was excellent. Was that 2 weeks ago now, or was that last week? Yeah, 2 weeks ago at Flemington. Got the right run. It was all set up. It was sort of like the Zoo Sensation of last week. Just everything made sense, and the odds were good. Splashback ran on powerfully behind Lazura. Then last time it got what it wanted at Mooney Valley, ran on from the back and won, beat a bounding. And Lady Jones is good first up, probably better second up, and probably wants Mooney Valley. Glasgow Lass, good first up, stay resuming. Raptor's going to go back. Sassy Boom will go forward. Chuleries will go forward. Bossy Nick will go back. I think here there's not that much speed, and it's interesting because Miraval Rose will go forward from barrier 1, and then you'll have Sassy Boom and Glasgow Miss sort of coming across, and then the others just sort of want to be on the speed in midfield. So Chuleries will be looking for a position, Road to Arataki, a bounding Lady Jones. So probably Miraval Rose will lead and get another sort of good run. It's been drawn quite well lately. Sassy Boom on its outside, Chuleries behind Miraval Rose, Road to Arataki, 1 out, 1 back. Lady Jones back on the fence, a bounding outside that in the 3 back in the running line. Glasgow Miss gets posted, Bossy Nick back on the fence, Splashdown last. Don't think there'll be enough speed for Splashdown. I'd be looking around just pretty much the favourites, Miraval Rose, Chuleries, maybe to a degree Sassy Boom sticking on for a place, and then a bounding. So that's why here I've gone for a first 4 with those 4 boxed. Just want to see if that will happen the way as expected. And then let's have a quick look at Randwick. There's a few races just skipping here because I've devoted most of the time to Caulfield, which is dangerous. It really should be a spread of meetings, but it just takes a lot of time and comparison, which we don't always have. There's the St. Ledger, which is race 2. Going to skip that. Race 3 is the Big Dance Wild Card. Vivier, an old favourite, is running there. It's going to skip that as well. Race 4 is the Angst Stakes, Group 3. A few old favourites there, Asgarda, Dominetta, Shohisha. Again, just going to have to leave. Race 5, the Kosciuszko. Front page will go forward. It's got a really great record first up and at the track. A lot of weight though, 60 kilos. Clear Thinking down at number 11, barrier 13. I think this will go back. It's paying $4.80. It's had a few good trials. I think this could spoil the party. So just a win bet on Clear Thinking in race 5. Race 6 is the Sydney Stakes, Group 3. Rothfire's there, Coal Crusher, Libertad, Ostraka, Shah of Goma. Generosity is an interesting one. It's had 24 runs for 4 wins only, and yet it's a $2.80 favourite here. Based on its recent form of looking really tough and strong behind Jolly Star, coming from the back, that was a Group 2. Before that, only 3 lengths off head walls. So we're running against some good horses. Just a small win bet on Generosity is to see if the money's right. Otherwise, it's a bit of a free for all, that one. Race 7 is the Everest Group 1. Apart from Briasa and Jimmy Star, it's not really your absolute top liners like Jetabil, War Machine. I mean, Jolly Star, yes, absolutely yes. So Jolly Star, Jimmy Star, Briasa. They're the ones. Tempted gets in with a very light weight, 51 kilos. Generosity might even make that field. Rothfire even, but yeah. It's such a privilege to see Kaying Rising running here at Randwick, and I won't be betting too much in this one. I think that is a favourite to have some money on, and to see how it matches up against Jolly Star, Jimmy Star, Briasa. Yeah, not too much to report there. That's going to be just an interesting watch, I think. The Silver Eagle, linebacker, is the favourite at 340. It's drawn wide, and I think this is quite suspect. Imperial Forces value at 16s. Same for Mayfair, same for Raikkonen, same for Sabaj, same for Spicy Martini. Gerringons in form, Snow in May. I would really look at Linebacker as a bit of a suspect favourite and find something else. That's probably a good note for that race 8. And then race 9 is the King Charles Stakes over the mile. This is a great field. Mr. Brightside, Royal Patronage, Wolf, Lake Forest, Tom Kitten. Class starts to drop away a little bit there, but there's still interesting horses, and that picks up again with Fangirl, Pride of Jenny within the law. With Pride of Jenny goes forward, Fangirl goes back, Brightside goes forward, Wolf goes back. Fascinating. I think within the law with 48 kilos is an interesting runner. Second last time behind Apocalyptic. 6th behind Apocalyptic. Also behind Apocalyptic, and then second behind Savvy Halley. Yeah, the weight I think swings it with 23 kilos to be quite an appealing bet. Otherwise, take your pick of Fangirl, Pride of Jenny, Brightside. That'll be a great race to watch. Really, really not too much at Sydney there to go on. And then in the sport, there's a promo on PointsBet with Lakers versus the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors are $1.83 favourites, Lakers at $2. Whoever scores first, you get an instant payout. So $20 on the Golden State Warriors at $1.83 to win, or if they score the first points of the match, it'll get paid out. So that's what we're going to do. So that's everything. I think the takeaways are that it shouldn't be as leader dominated as it was last week. You could probably make some money in the Cup. Keep in mind, Arabian Summer will probably get a good run and deliver on its recent good runs. And yeah, basically purpose to what was mentioned. So Cox Plate will be the week after this, then Derby Day, the Melbourne Cup. So it's really come along quite quickly. I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be an interesting day. And then I want to briefly touch on that. Last week I said that Globe should have been 1,000 to 1. Well, don't I look completely foolish seeing that really led them a merry dance and really beat Treasure Moment and Buckaroo easily. So I will dig a little bit into that of where that race was won and well, which sectionals were the most telling. But it certainly was a reminder that in a small field it can be very dangerous backing favourites, and that sometimes the class gap is either imagined or can be defeated by tempo. So that will be something to definitely check in on. But anyway, best of luck for an extra long episode because the racing is so good. And yeah, see you episode 72.
And then came Sweet Liaison as they turned for home. Jefferson, he's been in front every inch of the way. He's out like 2.